Hello YouTube, Fat Man in the Beard here. Do a little something different today. I'm going to do a comparison of both of the comic book grading companies. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about CGC and PGX and what they really do and what they don't do, and where's the right company to send your comic book to when getting graded. One other thing before I start that is I got the coolest gift from my girlfriend from Christmas, so I thought I'd show you. She got me a replica of Thor's hammer. Big beefy hammer here. It's really solid. It's some kind of polyurethane, but it's really solid. It's pretty heavy. Got a metal handle. So that's very cool. Just a good smashing people in the head device. But I thought I'd show that real quick before I started the video. So very cool Christmas gift from my girlfriend. So yeah, let's get to it. So there are two companies that do comic book grading. The first being CGC, which is probably the most well-known company. They also grade currency and coins and baseball cards and things like that. They've been around for a long time. And then the most trusted one in the comic book industry. PGX is a relatively new company. I don't know how long they've been around. They actually are here in my state of Oregon, down in Eugene, Oregon. I believe CGC is in Florida. Yes, I believe they're in Florida. Both I think are great companies. I think PGX has got a bad rep, and oh sorry, if you're wondering what the noise is, it's my cats in there getting their food out of the dish, and it's really noisy. I apologize. But anyway, yeah, so let's get to it. I'll start with CGC and give you a little backstory on them. So yeah, like I said, they've been around for a long time. And cat, get down. Sorry, the cat's always interfering with my videos here. So yeah, CGC, been around for a long time. Everyone trusts them in the comic book world. Has a lot to do with what happened with PGX. I'm not going to get into details because I don't want to bash on those guys. But yeah. So anyway, CGC is the one everyone trusts. But here are the reasons why you would want to send your comic books to CGC. The first example would be something like this, which is Comic-Con exclusive. This was from Portland, and this is a variant cover of the first issue of The Walking Dead, #1. Reason you would send it to CGC is because, and like a lot of stupid people at the con, because there are a lot of stupid people now at Comic-Con who come in just for the experience, don't understand what they're doing, are really there for the wrong reasons, and it's a bitter thing with me. They're just there as spectators to poke fun, I think, sometimes, and oh, look at this stupid thing, and I don't know why they're there. But anyway, they gave these out free at Portland Comic-Con, and people were rolling them up like they were a newspaper. Well, I knew right away these were valuable. As soon as me and my girlfriend got them, we walked off to the side, popped them in baggies and boards, and sent them off to CGC because I knew that these would be highly desired and very valuable. And it turns out they did. We sent both these off. They both came back a 9.8, which is how they grade on a scale of 1 to 10. And you get it'll tell you the title and the issue and where it came from. It even says Wizard World Portland Comic-Con exclusive here. So this is why you would send it here. Because these were worth about $175, $200 on eBay, graded at a 9.8. I sold the other one, and made all my money back on getting these graded and paid for my ticket to Wizard World. Sorry, these cats, they just won't leave anything alone. It's interrupting my video, sorry. So yeah, that's one reason, is Comic-Con exclusives. If you know they're going to be valuable, send them to CGC. I can't stress that, especially stuff like The Walking Dead, or you know, something like you know, like Neil Adams did an exclusive cover for the con, or you know, Chris Claremont, or I guess he's a writer. But yeah, you know, you get what I'm saying. Like these are the reasons you would do that. The other reason would be to send it to CGC is if you have a key issue, something like this is mine. This is Amazing Spider-Man 122. This is a very key issue. It's a very sought after issue. So this would be the main reason I would always send a key older, like 80s and back. I would send, you know, to CGC because this is a very valuable comic, and it graded at a 9.0. So if you have a high quality older comic, that is the reason you would send this to CGC, no questions asked, because of the high retail of this comic book. Something like, you know, Venom, first appearance of Venom, so Amazing Spider-Man 300. You know, any of those kinds of key issues, first appearance of Wolverine and Hulk, you know, like Hulk 181, or not 181, 182, 183, any of those kind of really high-end key issues is a reason to send it to CGC. You know, obviously if you got a comic book signed by Stan Lee, somebody like that, that is absolutely where you'd send it. The other thing I would send to, you can send to CGC that PGX does not do, is they do magazine size. This is Marvel magazines, which they did very few of. This is Nightmare on Elm Street, which I actually got signed by Robert Englund at one of the cons. Super nice guy, by the way. Even talked to me about his episode on Workaholics, which was super funny. He's a very nice guy. Signed this. It gets this green label because the only bad thing about CGC is if they don't witness the signature and you send this in, they give it a green label and they grade it down because has writing on it. PGX does not do that for signatures they didn't witness. They do not grade down for the comics. This actually would have probably graded out to be probably a 9. But like I said, it got graded down a full point because it has writing on it. But it's personalized to me, so I didn't really care. And you can see that I sent in another one here, which is, they only made 2 issues of these Marvel Magazine Nightmare on Elm Streets, and it graded an 8.5, and it was in probably as good a condition, but maybe not quite as good, and these are very rare. If you run across either one of these in very good condition, grab them. Very valuable, get them graded. They're very hard to get a hold of. The other thing that CGC also does is they grade other magazines. I believe the only other 2 they do is Sports Illustrated and Playboy. So like I said, if you had like the first issue of Playboy in really good condition, that would be the place to send it. That's what they kind of have this niche where they kind of do other things other than what PGX does. So the only down points of CGC is they're very expensive. So getting a couple of comics graded can be very expensive. You can usually go online and CGC, go to their website, they'll tell you where you can, there's usually comic book shops in your area that are certified dealers of CGC. So what you do is you bring them in, you pay the dealer, the comic book dealer, a fee, and he ships them off for you. They usually come back to his shop and then he calls you and you can come pick them up. That's the easiest way, is to find someone who's an authorized dealer of CGC in the area. I have a comic book shop I rely on and I go to, and they take care of all my CGC and my PGX. He's a PGX rep as well, because PGX is here in Oregon. It's a very long wait. You can wait as long as like 6 to 8 months to get a comic book back. For an extra fee, you can kind of put yourself into I forget what they call it, but it's a little faster. It cuts the time down by about half, but it's about, I think it's like $5 per comic. It's pretty spendy. So yeah, the only downside of CGC is it's very expensive. So So just keep that in mind if you're going to get that graded at CGC. So let's move on. PGX, new company. Haven't been around a long time. I'm not exactly sure. They are here in Oregon. They're actually not far from where I live, about an hour from where I live. They've gotten a bad rep. I still think they're a really great company. They do a really great job. I've never had any problems with them. And the thing of it is about PGX is the turnover time is half of what CGC. Their turnover is a lot higher because they don't do as much business and they only do comic books. So the turnaround is much faster, and their prices to get graded is much cheaper than CGC. So with that being said, here's an example of something I would send in. This was one of DC's newer comics where they did the 3D covers. These were kind of rare and kind of hard to find, and they had these 3D covers, and so I bought some of them and I sent them to PGX just because it was cheaper. They're a really new comic, and I knew they would grade pretty high, so it was really cheap. As you can see, this graded as a 10, which is extremely rare. Both companies very rarely give out a 10. It's extremely rare. They almost never do it. But yeah, so this would be a reason. Something really new, something that's not super, it's not a key issue from the past, so it's not from like the 70s or 80s, but this is a very desired comic book, and I could still flip this on eBay pretty easily, especially considering it's a 10. Now the other reason I would send stuff to PGX is, I got something all over this. Like we went to the Comic-Con last year, the Wizard World, and Ron Perlman was there. So we grabbed a Hellboy comic, got it signed by Ron Perlman, and PGX was right there. And they had no line, no nothing. So they came over, witnessed the signature. We handed them the comic book off, filled out some paperwork, and paid for it to get graded. And they actually did it right there on site. So that was really great. And obviously it has a silver colored tab up here, and it actually tells you that it was signed at Wizard World, that it was signed by Ron Perlman, tells you the name, tells you the artist, obviously it's Mike Mignola. So this would be a really good example of, PGX is right there and you want to get something signed and it's very inexpensive. Their signature series is a lot cheaper than CGC. This is where I would send my signatured comics. Not that I wouldn't use CGC for a signatured comic, but usually at the con they're very busy. It's very hard to get one of the reps to come over and witness a signature. So if they're at the con that you're at and you want to get something signed and you definitely want to get it slabbed in a hard case like this, this is the way to go. PGX is much cheaper and they don't have a lot of people around. And the other, these are all dusty, the other reason I would choose PGX is something like this. About a year and a half back, I got VIP tickets to go see Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes live. Went backstage and got them to sign this comic book. And of course, there was no rep there to witness it, so I just sent it in to PGX, and they don't grade down, so I still got a high 9.6. And it's in a slab and it's protected, and I have the memory, and that's really all I wanted. I wanted something basically to protect this signature, and now I always have this and I'll always keep it safe. And it was relatively inexpensive. Oh, and by the way, Kevin Smith, super nice guy. Let me stay backstage by myself. He pulled people back individually. I spent about half an hour with that guy, just talking, and he was super cool. He never pressured me to leave the backstage area or anything. He just let me talk as long as I wanted. And it was great. He's a very, very nice guy. So yeah, that's my spiel on comic book grading. Like I said, there's both. I think you've seen all the reasons why you would choose one or the other. yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people don't realize a lot of these comics you're picking up are very valuable, especially these Comic-Con exclusives. Anything to do with, obviously, The Walking Dead. If you're getting any kind of exclusive at a Comic-Con that's The Walking Dead, obviously everyone knows the show is super popular. So those are the kind of comics you'd want to get graded at a Comic-Con. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Hopefully I'll have Horror Block unboxing up. Hopefully sometime this week. Hopefully it comes in. I haven't even got a tracking number for it yet, so that's kind of strange. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, hopefully I'll have another video up. Hopefully I'll have some Blu-ray review videos up this week. But yeah, that's it for me. We'll see you later, YouTube.